5 years before Reacher Megastardom, Alan Ritchson's first action leading role was Grindhouse for Mad Max fans. 5 years before Alan Ritchson became a star following the massive success of Reacher, he secured his very first lead action role in a wild Grindhouse series in the vein of Mad Max. Starting out in modeling, Alan Ritchson initially gained some recognition as a contestant on American Idol in 2004, and then went on to play a Quayman for 4 episodes on the hit series Smallville, with his first appearance in 2005. His role as Thad Castle in Blue Mountain State showed the hilarious acting chops Ritchson possessed, but he has been mainly relegated to action projects. After a string of mostly supporting characters throughout his career, in both TV and film, Alan Ritchson became a main character in the Max series, Titans, playing the superhero Hawk. After that, his years of grinding and hard work paid off in spades, as Reacher for Amazon Prime became a mega hit, catapulting Ritchson into superstardom. Alan Ritchson's sights are set on Reacher Season 3, but it's worth remembering his first lead action role in the unhinged series Blood Drive. It's easy to see Alan Ritchson as one of the biggest action stars around right now following the monumental success of Reacher, but there was a time when he did lead his own series, portraying supporting characters for years. Blood Drive gave Alan Ritchson his first opportunity to be the leading man in action, as he played Arthur Bailey, a police officer with the Los Angeles Police Department. Released in 2017, Blood Drive was a Grindhouse-influenced SYFY channel series that depicted an alternate reality where it is set in a dystopian, distant future of 1999. The series only ran for 1 season, but it was some of the most absurd television shows at the time, heavily pulling from the Grindhouse genre's history to carve out its own path on cable television. Alan Ritchson was predictably great in it, having routinely shown his talent as an actor in a variety of genres for both TV and film over the course of his career. Despite being such an integral part of his career, Blood Drive seems to have just came and went, without really breaking into the mainstream at all during its short run. Not only did Bloodhouse mark an important moment in Alan Ritchson's acting career, it is absurdly fun. It can be described as Mad Max with heavy Grindhouse sensibilities, taking the violence and absurdity even further than George Miller's iconic franchise ever did. For example, following a fuel shortage that ravaged civilization, cars were eventually designed to run on something very different from gas, human blood. Even critics loved Blood Drive, citing how it indulges in all the elements of the Grindhouse genre, while also implementing self-aware humor to great effect. It really is a wonderful, weird, gory, and frankly silly series that fans of Alan Ritchson should definitely tune in to see. He is fantastic in it, acting as a more grounded character in the non-stop onslaught of madness that is happening around him. It proved he could be more than a supporting character, paving the way for his major roles like Reacher. Despite only lasting for 1 season, there were plans for a second, but the series was unfortunately canceled prematurely. In 2017, The Hollywood Reporter talked about the cancellation of Blood Drive with series creator James Rowland, revealing the news via a blog post of his. Essentially, the cancellation of the series boiled down to the low ratings it pulled in for FY. This is common for networks to do, especially in the modern TV era, as shows continue to get more and more expensive. Still, it doesn't make the cancellation of Blood Drive hurt any less. Before the world knew him as the larger-than-life titular character in Reacher, Alan Ritchson was already carving a path in Hollywood. Though his breakthrough came with Reacher in 2022, his first venture into the action hero realm was much earlier in the 2017 cult classic Grindhouse. A gritty, unapologetic tribute to the action-packed, low-budget exploitation films of the 1970s, Grindhouse was tailor-made for Mad Max fans, filled with car chases, fiery explosions, and characters as rough-edged as the film's grainy, blood-spattered aesthetics. Directed by a rising team of filmmakers with a deep reverence for the visceral energy of B-movie cinema, Grindhouse set the stage for a young Ritchson to prove he had the makings of an action star. Little did audiences know that this project would become a stepping stone, leading him to the breakout role of Jack Reacher and transforming him into an action hero who would soon dominate the screens. When Grindhouse first hit theaters, it was clear that it was more than just another high-octane action flick. It was a love letter to a bygone era of cinema. The film, set in a post-apocalyptic world reminiscent of Mad Max, Fury Road, drew heavily from the same gritty, nihilistic aesthetic that made George Miller's franchise a global phenomenon. In the film, Ritchson plays Sam Stryker Locke, a roguish former soldier turned lone wolf, seeking revenge against a ruthless gang of scavengers who have terrorized his hometown. With its dirt-soaked landscapes, rusted-out vehicles, and high-octane violence, Grindhouse was a perfect fit for fans of Mad Max, and Ritchson was the ideal choice to bring its explosive action to life. Ritchson, with his broad frame and commanding physical presence, was cast as the ultimate anti-hero, a man on a singular mission with little regard for authority or morality. Locke was a character who operated outside the law, driven by a deep, unrelenting sense of justice that only a select few could understand. He wasn't quite a villain, but he certainly wasn't a traditional hero either. His moral compass was more about survival than any sense of right and wrong, a trait that would later serve him well in the more complex world of Jack Reacher. Though Grindhouse wasn't a commercial hit when it first debuted, it quickly found a dedicated following, gaining traction among fans of low-budget action films and exploitation cinema. Ritchson's performance, brimming with both physicality and charm, was widely praised. While his character may not have had the iconic weight of a Max Rokitansky or a Frank Castle, Locke had a presence that demanded attention. His intense, no-nonsense approach to action sequences was breathtaking. Whether he was fighting off hordes of bandits in a deserted scrapyard or tearing through the scorched streets in a modified, gas-guzzling muscle car, Ritchson delivered his role with an undeniable energy. One of the key highlights of Grindhouse was the film's devotion to practical effects. Much like Mad Max, Fury Road, which was heralded for its commitment to practical stunts, Grindhouse eschewed the reliance on CGI in favor of actual explosions, stunt drivers, and physical combat. Ritchson's raw physicality was put to the test in numerous action scenes, many of which were done with minimal digital enhancement. Whether he was performing a brutal hand-to-hand fight or leaping from a speeding vehicle to engage in a climactic gun battle, Ritchson made sure every punch, kick, and explosion felt as real as the dust flying up in the air. What makes Grindhouse such a fitting precursor to Ritchson's later success is the sheer amount of heart that went into the project. Like the characters in Mad Max, Ritchson's Stryker Locke was an embodiment of survival in a chaotic world. His quiet charisma and natural presence turned the film's simple, revenge-driven plot into something more meaningful. In hindsight, it was this role that began to cement Ritchson's reputation as an actor who could deliver both physicality and depth, something that would serve him well in his future roles, especially as Jack Reacher. Despite its niche appeal, Grindhouse was a critical stepping stone for Ritchson. It gave him the opportunity to showcase his ability to headline an action film and prove his mettle as a leading man. Audiences started to take notice of the up-and-coming actor who was capable of taking on the mantle of classic action stars while bringing his own unique blend of intensity and depth to the genre. When Ritchson later stepped into the boots of Jack Reacher 5 years after Grindhouse, there was little surprise to fans who had seen the way he commanded the screen in his earlier action roles. The traits he developed in Grindhouse, fearlessness, intensity, and emotional depth, would come to define his portrayal of the iconic character, making him a perfect fit for the role. In many ways, his journey from Stryker Locke to Jack Reacher felt like a natural evolution for an actor who had already proven he could stand